Maybe you're thinking about a brand new Tesla or you're a recent Tesla owner. Well, in this video, I'm going to go over 8 crucial mistakes that you want to avoid, not only to get the most out of your Tesla, but also to provide you extra safety. Let's go over 8 mistakes you want to make sure you avoid. Point number 1 has everything to do with one of the most crucial aspects of your Tesla, and that is your battery life and charging. So should you charge to 100% or should you charge to a lower amount on the daily basis or even on a road trip? Well, here's the answer. So if you have a standard model Tesla, let's say the Model 3, that has the new LFP battery, it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, you want to charge that battery to 100%. So if you don't, you want to charge to 90%. And this is to ensure that your battery has the maximum life possible and potentially charging those other batteries. Not that it's unsafe. You could 100% charge any battery to 100%. It has everything to do with maximizing that battery's life. So again, LFP battery, go to 100%, you're okay to do that. Other batteries, at this time at least, it's best to charge at 90%. On road trips, even if you have any kind of battery, you want to charge to 100% because that'll get you the most range. Again, that's perfectly okay. Let's get into point number 2. Point number 2 has everything to do with Tesla safety. Now, autopilot, in our last video, we talked about how autopilot is getting even better with time, with the third quarter crash numbers coming in and getting even better. But what you don't want to do, a very, very crucial mistake, is this. You obviously don't want to ignore the autopilot prompts. Now, no matter which Tesla you have, if it's autopilot, enhanced autopilot, or full self-driving, you must be willing and able to take over if you have to when driving. This is not full self-driving to the point where you can take a nap in your Tesla. You must be attentive with both hands on the wheel, and this is why. So if you avoid those autopilot prompts, it's going to give you more and more warnings in succession and gradually slow down the car to a stop and put it in park if you absolutely ignore those warnings for whatever reason, and this is for safety. This one's gonna save you money. Point number 3 is constantly sitting at a supercharger and not leaving. Well, what do I mean? Let's say you're not really in a rush. Not only is it rude to sit at a supercharger after you've charged your Tesla to, let's say, 90% or 100%, again, based on if you're going on a road trip or your battery, well, did you know that you're gonna start incurring fees if you charge and then you wait and you sit there and your Tesla can no longer charge past the maximum? Yes, you cannot sit at a supercharger. Let's say you go to eat and you just leave it there for hours, let's say, or you just drop it off and park it. You will incur fees, as you should, because you're taking up a spot for another Tesla. So don't do that. Don't make that mistake. Let's get into point number 4, and this one is an important one. Point number 4 is really important, but before we do, if you could consider tapping that subscribe button. I'm trying to do this full time to bring you even more videos. And if you are thinking about a Tesla, the very best accessories, if you could click those links in the description, it helps out the channel, and you can buy those products, those best accessories or other products off of those links. Let's get into point number 4. If you're in autopilot, this is really, really, really important. Now, naturally in a gas-powered car, you should never do this. But if you were to take off your seatbelt, let's say you drop your phone, you should never do this. You take off your seatbelt to grab something. This is what will happen if you do it in your Tesla. I had to learn this the hard way because I dropped my sunglasses, I couldn't reach it, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna be a second, and the car is on autopilot. Well, learn from my mistake, a crucial mistake number 4. If you take off that seatbelt during autopilot, a series of alarms and bells will go off. The 4 ways, the blinking lights of your car will automatically go on. So Don't do that for everyone's safety. Even if you're trying to reach something, a little warning, don't make that mistake. Point number 5 is also an important one and could cause you some confusion. So before you start driving, I actually made this mistake as well. These are mistakes I made when I first got the car. So hopefully you're getting some value out of this. I want to save you the trouble. You cannot drive the car, and I know some people do, or even move your car safely without wearing the seatbelt. If you try to drive your car without the seatbelt, your car will automatically go into park at low speeds to prevent rollaway. So your Tesla is doing this for safety reasons. It's assuming that you're about to exit the vehicle because you took off your seatbelt. Or it's also trying to prevent rollaway or your Tesla from moving on a hill, so it automatically puts that vehicle in park. And if you're trying to drive it without a seatbelt and you come to a stop sign or a red light, your car is going to jolt into park and it's going to be embarrassing, unsafe, and a mistake you want to avoid. Autopilot currently has limits, and at the time of making this video, my car and your car is going to have an autopilot speed limit of 85 miles per hour. So don't make this mistake if you do go above the speed limit of autopilot, because again, the autopilot will keep you in the lanes, but what's stopping you from pressing the pedal and trying to go even faster? Well, you're going to get kicked out of autopilot fairly quickly with a series of warnings that you're exceeding autopilot speed limit, and from the remainder of the trip, well, at least until you put it back in park, you'll be unable to use autopilot. Don't make that mistake. It's actually very unsafe. And of course, you're not going to use autopilot again for that trip. Point number 7 will actually get you more range. So this one is not so much about safety, although it can help. But point number 7 has everything to do with what will get you the most range and what are some mistakes to avoid. Number 1, did you know that having uneven tire pressure can actually lower your range? Yes, it's true, but thankfully for Tesla, you can check the PSI, the tire pressure of your Tesla in your app. So this one is especially important if you're getting the rear-wheel drive Model 3. Did you know that you will lose range if your tires aren't balanced properly? Because of the rear of the vehicle is where the torque is coming from, it'll burn through your tires fairly quickly. So you want to make sure you properly rotate those tires, meaning your tread will wear evenly, and that will get you the most range. So proper care is really important in point number 7, mistakes to avoid when it comes to your tire pressure, balancing your tires, and the third point, you don't want to be accelerating overly aggressively all the time, because not only will that mistake just absolutely chew through your tires and you're going to have to replace them more frequently, it is also going to get you less range. Point number 8. Now, if I'm anything like you, I did a lot of my research on Tesla online, like watching these YouTube videos, which I really appreciate, but I was so excited and so sold on getting the Model 3, I honestly didn't even consider buying the Model Y. Don't make this mistake of not taking a test drive. So especially now, at the time of making this video, with price decreases, the prices and some of the range that you get is fairly comparable when you're looking at, let's say, the Y versus the 3. And something that you don't really notice on a lot of these videos, it's hard for me to convey, are differences like the trunk space, the height that you actually get in the Model Y versus the 3, the headroom, the width of the car, the stance of the vehicle. So I did not take a test drive of even my Model 3 before I ordered it. So don't make that mistake. If you like taking a test drive, I would 100% book a test drive to make sure you get the right vehicle for you. These list of 8 mistakes will make sure that you get the most out of your Tesla. And if you did learn something in this video, please consider tapping that subscribe button so I can bring you even more videos, and check out those links down below to the very best Tesla accessories. The only way I know that you enjoyed this video is, of course, to drop a like. Again, this is Matt from Frunk to Trunk. We will see you in the next video.